Hey guys, welcome back to L&D Home and welcome to a buffet. Welcome to another video. If you're new here, thank you for joining us. Tell the people what we're doing.
Yo, what's good? So, there's a piece of paper right there, like parchment, and we're gonna make some cookies, right?
No.
In front of the mirror so we can like see our technique.
No. Okay, what are we doing?
I don't know, you tell me.
Tell the people.
Tell me, I'll introduce it. Okay, I didn't agree to be on camera. This is criminal.
Well, I'm pointing to the top of it, so what do you think we're going to do?
Are we gonna stain it and paint it black?
Go with the second one.
We're gonna paint it black.
No.
Gray. Wait.
No.
This is being painted black.
Yes.
This is being painted white.
Kind of.
Kind of.
You're on to something. What we're actually going to be doing is changing this cabinet up a little bit, updating it some. So here's my plan. I said that I wanted to redo this top in my projects I want to do this year video. So if you haven't checked out the video, it'll be in the cards at some point, but also down in the description box below. But I want to, it's yellow. It's yellow marble. It is actual true marble. It's real heavy. And I know it's probably some kind of sin to paint over marble, but I hate it and it's yellow. Like it is living its best, like canary life, and I'm not about it. So I am going to try and do like a white and gray marbling, but more of like a stippling marble, not like, I don't want so much veining. This is a little bit too much for me. With some chalk paint, because I hear you can use that on marble, as long as you sand first. And then we're going to paint the bottom black and the handles gold. I apologize for all the noise in the background on that previous clip. Our window AC is on, and it is very, very loud when I record, but if we turn it off, then it's just way too hot in the living area. So sorry about the noise, but you know, just trying to stay cool. After I got everything cleared off, I was wanting to give it a light sand. That way my chalk paint would adhere, because obviously this is marble and it has a shiny surface. So I wanted to just kind of like rough it up a little bit. I believe I have a 220 grit on here. Nothing like crazy, but I did want to rough up that shine a little bit, just the surface. So I got it to stick really well. This was about the point where my husband's like, you should probably put a mask on. Like, it stinks. It's flying everywhere. It's not just like paint or wood, babe. You should probably be wearing a mask. So I grabbed a mask out of my stash. And that was definitely much better, because it was kind of stinky. I don't know if it's supposed to be. And there were little tiny particles flying all over the place. So the mask definitely helped the situation.
I won't make it easy for you now. You got 2 minutes of my time.
When I use chalk paint, I always like to keep a spray bottle handy, because the chalk paint is very thick. Like, mine's really old, so it's probably extra thick, but in general, chalk paint is a very thick consistency, and it can be kind of hard to spread. So that spray bottle just kind of helps me as I'm moving that paint along, just kind of dampen the paint a little bit and making it easier to spread. Now, if you water it down a lot, it's going to be a little more transparent, but if you use just a spray bottle and give it a couple spritzes, it just makes it easier to move around, and it doesn't really like change the coating or the coverage of the paint. So I gave everything a nice good coat with a chalk paintbrush of, I believe this is Folk Art chalk paint. I think I was out of my Waverly. I don't even know if they sell Waverly anymore. I haven't crafted in so long, guys, but this is just Folk Art, and I believe I got this from Michael's.
Don't really break too easily, but I'm worth it, 'cause I'll slip into your dreams tonight. Oh, so give me your all. I'll take it to Mars. Oh, I'll stick like glue inside your mind. Just watch me breaking your sweat. You're falling.
So this is what the first coat is looking like so far. Definitely a little rough, but that's okay. It always looks a little rough at first. I love it so much better. And now I really think I am gonna go with the black bottom and the gold handles. Please ignore the oven. The black bottom and the gold handles, because like I'll have white over there, like all that white dusk, or if I switch it around, there's just, I mean, it's like a lot of white. And I mean, not a lot of gray, but it's like we have the gray top here, and like, I don't know. I'm thinking maybe this one piece of black furniture will be fine over here, because like everything else is so neutral. Like the walls are almost white, everything else besides the organ is like almost white. So I think I might go with that. So, but we'll see. This is going to need to dry for quite a bit. And then we are going to come do a second coat. I might water it down a little bit, like in like a cup, because it was very thick. I've had this chalk paint for a while. And do like a second coat. And then we will try to do some like veining or something. For my second coat, I did decide to just put some chalk paint in a cup and water it down just a little bit more because it was getting really hard to work with because it's so old and it was so thick, that I did water it down a little bit more than I did the first time, which does kind of lessen the coverage a bit, but I got pretty decent coverage on that first coat. I just wanted to make sure everything was nice and opaque because what I'm going for is more of like a white kind of quartz marble. Like I said, not a lot of veining. I want a little bit of like gray in there, but I didn't want it to be like super gray. I wanted the majority of this to be white, kind of like a granite or a marble or a quartz, like that really kind of like pretty white stone look. So I wanted to make sure that I had a good coat of white paint. If you see me moving my mouth a lot or looking over there to the other side, I am talking to David right now. I believe he was actually off on this day, or maybe he was on break. I'm not sure, but we were just chatting it up while I was doing this painting.
Touch me, I swear. You would do anything that I want, so keep us awake till the dawn. Baby, feel free. I wanna make you sweat on me. I wanna make you sweat on me. I got you wrapped around my finger, but don't you try to call me tomorrow. There's nothing personal in having a little fun. You wait and see.
This was probably my first mistake. In a cup, I didn't have any gray. I thought I had gray chalk paint, but I didn't. And it was late in the evening and I couldn't run to the store. So I mixed some white with some black. And I mixed it way more than you just saw on camera. Like I mixed this for like a good like 5, 6, 7 minutes. And there's black specks all in it. The black did not mix in all the way. And this was the moment where I was like, oh my God, I've messed this up. I almost thought about stopping and just like wiping it off and putting another coat of white on. But I went ahead and went for it because David was like, oh, I actually like the black in there a little bit. I was panicking. As you can see, it's really dark outside right now. I should not have, this was like 9:45 at night. I should not have started this project when I was so tired, but I was just so excited to get this done and like see the final result. And I was really panicking at this point. Also, another big mistake I made was I did not have a natural sponge brush like all the videos say to use. So I was like, yeah, like paper towels and this like random automotive brush that I got from Dollar Tree will work just fine. It did not. I actually had some sponges in like my cleaning stash, and I actually ended up pulling out one of those like cleaning sponges, and that came in really, really handy, and it worked so much better. The paper towel was just not laying the paint down the way I wanted. So after just a lot of stressing, I even tried like a brush at one point to like swipe it, and I was like, oh no, that looks like awful. I don't want that at all. After a lot of anxiety about how this was turning out, I decided to get that cleaning sponge, and that worked a lot better. And I actually loved the final result, but it took me a long time to get to that final result. I had to add a lot of white paint back in to get the look I was going for.
So give me your all. I'll take it to Mars. Oh, I'll stick like glue inside your mind. Just watch me break it. You're sweet. You're falling into me. Touch me. I swear. You would do anything that I want. So keep us awake till the dawn. Ooh, baby, feel free. I wanna make you sweat on me. I wanna make you sweat on me. Just take a hint, you got a free pass. Oh, try to hide it, but you had me from the get-go. Let me be frank, I'm not that complicated.
So here we are the next morning, and this was after about 2 coats of sponging that white on. So I still had a lot of work to do, but at this point I was like, okay, maybe this is going to turn out okay. So I wanted to give everything a light sand. This is like a 300 grit. I didn't want to like take any of the paint off. I just wanted to smooth out some of like the sponge marks, brush strokes, things like that, because it was just looking a little bit messy. So I just took this 300 grit and gave everything kind of a light sand, including the edges, which, by the way, those edges were really hard to paint. That like crevice right there was really hard to get into, but the sponge definitely helped if I just use like the very edge of the sponge. In this like next clip, hopefully you're going to see me do that. But that's what made it a little bit easier, was using the edge of the sponge. This is when I started doing this coat that I was like, okay, like, yes, this is going to work. It's giving that white vibe that I wanted, but it also had like a little bit of color variant in there. I wasn't able to see any of those black specks anymore, which I did not love. It was not really the look that I was going for, and things were really coming together. I had my spray bottle again, just because the chalk paint can be kind of difficult to work with, like I said. Now, I did water it down in a plate, but I found that spritzing it as I was moving along really helped give me that kind of like stone look, and it didn't apply so much paint because I was able to move that paint around. Now, it did take me quite a few coats. I got up early in the morning and started working on this, and I did this several times, probably like 3 or 4 times, like throughout the day. I did use my heat gun to dry it a little bit at sometimes, but I liked doing it and building it up slower, because I felt like it really gave me the look that I was going for, and I didn't have to struggle as hard to blend everything when I used a good amount of water and just kind of took my time getting a good coat. I did that process a few more times off camera, and then it was time for me to use some polycrylic. I chose a semi-gloss for this. I wanted that like shiny look, like it was actual like stone, like a quartz countertop. But I do wish I would have went with a gloss. I think that would have made it look a little bit more realistic. When I think of like a bathroom countertop or kitchen countertop, it's pretty shiny. But either way, it does have some sheen to it because it has a semi-gloss, but I do wish I would have gone with the gloss. In total, I did about I think 2 or 3 coats with a brush. And then you're going to see later in the video that I did also go in with a roller, because I wasn't liking the texture of the brush. There were kind of some brush strokes showing. So I did do a 4th and final coat, but I rolled that on, and I liked the texture of that a lot better. And I think it gave it kind of like a stone-like look, because it wasn't so like incredibly smooth, and it didn't have those brush strokes in there. It kind of gave it that, you know, like look when you roll paint on with a roller. I don't really know how to describe it, but it definitely looked more realistic in my opinion when I did my 4th and final coat with a roller instead of all coats with a paintbrush. It was now time for me to work on the actual cabinet itself. So I'm just taking the hardware off. I'm going to be taking the doors off as well, and all of the hinges. And I'm going to be giving the doors and the cabinet base like a really good wipe down. I just used some like warm soapy water. I did originally film that part, but I felt like this video was getting a little bit long as I was editing. So I was like, let me just tell them that I wiped everything off. Like, I don't really need to show them. I'm sure they can understand that I wiped everything off. These hinges I thought they were stuck, but there was like another screw in there that I had forgotten about. So anyway, I'm going to get the doors set up on the kitchen island. And for risers, a lot of the times I just use the bowls, like the plastic bowls that we eat out of, and I just push them like to the center so I don't get like any paint on the bowl, and then I just throw them in the dishwasher after. Even though I didn't get any paint on them, I clean them anyway. But it's just an easy way like to raise something off of a surface so it doesn't get like puddling or anything like as you're painting. I am going to be painting the hardware, not the hinges, but just the knobs with the gold spray paint that I've been using. It's Aged Brass by Rustoleum. And for the actual paint for the cabinet, I'm going to be using this milk paint by Rustoleum. It is in the color Eclipse. And I'm going to be applying it with a brush. One thing I noticed is when I did this on our bathroom cabinets, because I repainted both of those like bathroom sink cabinets, is I tried to use a roller on the doors, and I actually hated the way this went on with the roller. The roller was just eating up all the paint. I was not getting a good finish. So I actually prefer to apply this particular paint, milk paint, with a brush. So that's what I am doing here. And depending on your surface, the milk paint may look a little bit crazy that first coat, usually always does. when I did my bench makeover, it looked real crazy, like the first coat. This does not look too bad because this is actually gray chalk paint that I had already used. So this is adhering really well because it is such a like flat finish like surface. But just keep in mind when you use any kind of paint, but especially like chalk paint or milk paint, the first coat can look a little bit crazy. I am also taking that little teeny tiny brush and just getting any pooling out of those little like crevices and making sure that I get inside those corners because I don't want any of that really light gray showing through my black paint.
If you need me, what's the use of playing games? No, there's no denying what we want. Just watch me break it. You're falling into me, touch me. You would do anything that I want, so keep us awake till the dawn. Baby, I wanna make a sweat on me.
I'm now going to be working on giving the cabinet a good coat. I was really careful on the edge underneath that top that I had just kind of marbled, so I wanted to be really careful there. And it's really hard to film painting like a cabinet because like I'm sitting down and bending over. It's all the terrible angles, or I'm crawling all over the floor. It's just not a good look when you're painting furniture unless you have some like super fancy setup, and well, I don't. For the bottom, I just took some computer paper, shoved it underneath the cabinet because this cabinet is raised just the tiniest bit because it has wheels underneath, thank goodness, because it's really, really heavy. And I was just able to get down to the very bottom without getting any paint on the carpet. And in the next clip, the sun was coming straight through the window. So just kind of roll with me on this next clip. I didn't realize it when I was filming it. But yeah, the sun is definitely shining in your eyes. So put on those sunglasses, and I apologize in advance. I was not trusting myself with that big brush, so I took a little tiny brush to get close to those edges. You can see there's like black underneath. I don't remember if this was like painted black when my mom gave me this cabinet like eons ago, but that was not from this coat of paint, so I'm unsure where that came from. But I did not want to get any black like on the actual white edge of that faux marble top I had just completed. This is what the first coat was looking like on the doors. Like I said, it's messy, but I did a second coat off camera and it turned out absolutely amazing. Our next step is going to be to roll on that coat of semi-gloss polycrylic that I was telling you guys about a little bit earlier because I really, like I said, wanted that texture and just a better finish.
You only make you feel like you could never leave. Do the same, we can't go back, this is all we need. Follow me to make believe and make your dreams come true. This night means forever and so does me and you. We say we love, we say we love. We gave it all, we gave it all. We say we love, we say we love. But we were just interesting until something better came along.
I decided also to change like the closure on here. It's one of those things where it kind of goes inside of that little like roller ball piece. And I had these extra magnetic kind of closures from when I did the cabinet in the kitchen. This was very hard to film. Basically I used the holes that were like already there, or one of the holes that were already there. And I had to have like a little tiny like Phillips like screw driver head. Oh my God, I can't talk. To get that in there. And it did not go according to plan. You're going to see here in a second, but I'm just adding the backer piece on the door, and then you're about to find out the hiccup that I came to after I put this door on. I only did one at a time because I wanted to make sure that it was going to work correctly before I went through the stress of putting both the magnetic closures on. So I'm going to be attaching this door and trying to shut it and all of that jazz to make sure I'm good to go for the other side.
Fall in love and tear it down as soon as we wake up. Promise you the world tonight, show you what I've got. Your body speaks my language.
I was making good progress, but my drawer will not shut because this is in the way. So I'm going to still use these. I'm just going to move it over a little bit, which means I also then have to, focus, move this over a little bit. After I fixed that off camera and did a few little touch-up spots with a small brush, it was time for me to put the gold knobs back on and do the styling up pretty much the way it was. I didn't really change the styling much at all, but I wanted to get everything set back up so it looked beautiful and it was ready to go.
Like a book. This night means forever, and so does me and you. We say we love, we say we love. We gave it all, we gave it all. We say we love, we say we love. But we were just innocent until something better came along.
And here we have the final reveal. I didn't get a super great shot of this because I had another project actually going on at the same time, but I love the way that this turned out. I think it just looks a lot more like modern. It just brings so much more to the room. I also added some candles in that lantern that hopefully you will see in a later video. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you found it helpful or at least entertaining. Make sure you check out the video and the playlist on the screen. And as always, smash that subscribe button so you can become part of our YouTube family. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.